Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magical Book Club. Today, I'm here to continue reading the novel which is called Paperboy. I'm going to continue from chapter 7. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Mrs. Worthington was sitting on her porch swing on Monday of my third week on the route. I had been hoping for a grown-up conversation with her like the one I had had with Mr. Sparrow, but she just gave me a plain old thank you when I walked up on her porch to hand her the paper. She did have a smile for me. A sad one. She didn't act like she was drinking whiskey, but I got the feeling she had gobs of stuff on her mind. She looks straight ahead, like when your eyes really don't see anything because your brain is thinking hard about something else. Cool for July. I had practiced those 3 words over and over on the way to her house, in case I might see her. My air was so gentle you couldn't hear it. Mrs. Worthington turned halfway to look at me and nodded. I waited for her to say something, but there wasn't anything else coming from her, and all my practice words with easy starting sounds were used up. Mrs. Worthington spoke to me after I started back down the steps. Do I owe for the paper? She owed 2 weeks, which I figured in my head was $1.90, but I didn't want to take a chance on an "and" sound. On Friday, the amount would be $2.85, which might be easier for me to say. Wait till Friday. The W and F sounds let out their own air without me having to wrestle with them, and the T sound came out in a whisper. But I had spoken 2 complete sentences to Mrs. Worthington without stuttering. I hoped she could tell how hard I was working on my talking for her. She went inside her house and closed the door that Mr. Worthington had almost busted the glass out of the week before. Mrs. Worthington didn't have to say much for me to tell what kind of day she was having. I had already seen her angry eyes, her happy eyes, her whiskey eyes. I had just seen her empty eyes. Mrs. Worthington's eyes stayed in my head all the way home, and that should have been a warning to me that things were going to be bad for the rest of the day. When I came downstairs from getting cleaned up, my mother told me that Ma'am had asked for the evening off, but the worst news was that we were going out to eat at a sit-down restaurant. I only like to eat out at cafeterias where you could point to what you wanted, but we had it to a fancy Italian restaurant downtown. The night kept getting worse. My parents ran into some loud talking people they knew at the restaurant and asked them to join us. 8 grown-ups, including my parents, ended up at our table, which was 8 too many grown-ups for me since I was only kid there. My mother put the hand on my crew cut and rubbed it like she was trying to wipe something out of my hair. Our big boy will be 12 soon. The woman clapped and oohed and ahed, and one of the men put his hand on my shoulder. I hear this boy has quite an arm on him. Let's feel that muscle. He put his hand around my upper arm. Yep, feels solid to me. I wanted to tell him that big muscles didn't have anything to do with throwing. That is the way a person used the muscle that he had. But there was no way I could ever figure out a way to say all the words without using tones of gentle air. So this says till page 81, and I'm going to continue from page 82 next time. So thank you for joining me today too, and I'm going to continue reading Paperboy next time. See you later. Bye. Thank you.